Hello everybody, welcome back. It is Friday, April 17th, 2026, and you are listening to episode 229 of Midnight Film Society. I'm your host, Damian Sherman. Joining me today, as always, is...
Derick McDuff.
On today's show, MJ and Batman, aka Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, star together in one of the biggest releases so far this year, Christopher Borghi's The Drama. Derick and I will be discussing that film and others later on. But before that, we go over some movie and TV news, discuss more of what we've been watching, and finish up with our Letterboxd assignments. Right into the show, Midnight Film Society at gmail.com, Midnight Film Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. Subscribe on Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcast, Spotify, rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, family member, or stranger, what's up, dude? How we doing?
Doing well. Ready to talk some movies. I like how you said The Drama is one of the biggest movie releases so far this year. Sure, maybe for like cinephiles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess. Big old movie nerds.
Yes.
I love that it came out the same day as the actual biggest movie release so far this year, the number one movie at the box office.
Yeah.
Which is we'll get to later, but The Drama is sitting at 15th. At the box office of the year so far, right between Iron Lung and Anaconda, two movies which came out last year and did not do incredibly well. I guess they did relatively well. But one of them's an independent film.
Yeah. It's a big release. Yeah, for us, for the weirdos, for the cinephiles, exactly. Yeah. And it should be a big release. This movie, like in 1993, would be like making $20 million, and be it would be one of the biggest releases of the year.
I don't know about that.
No, 93, no, 30 years ago.
I don't think so. I don't know that this movie. I don't know we'll get into the subject matter, but I don't know that this movie is incredibly marketable at any time when it comes out. No, right. I think this is always going to be kind of niche.
Okay, all right. What was I going to say? Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad you made time last night, right, to check it out?
Yes, I did. I remember you were talking highly about it, and I was like, well, I got to see this one before we talk about it tomorrow. Yes. So I saw a very late show of it.
Okay, appreciate doing the work. Push it. Doing the work, yes. Putting the time in, crunching tape, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do it. You got the love of the game, and for the content, For the content, exactly.
Speaking of content, it's not letting me look at this article, even though I was looking at it the other day on Vogue.com. So subscribe to continue, so I'm going to have to pull up another one. Is it working for you or no?
Which article are you talking about? Oh, the one here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It's working for me.
Yeah. Okay, I must have, because I visited it twice. Can't visit the same article twice. Got to pay. Sorry.
Gotta pay to play.
Got to pay to
Capitalism,
play.
baby.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Any other article? Let me see if I can pull up another article here, because they have.
Go to Wayback Machine.
Yeah,
that's a trick.
Is it?
You didn't hear from me, but go to Wayback Machine and then just punch in the URL.
Okay.
Just looked at it like a couple days ago.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I got another article here pulled up. I like that one because it had like a very defined, like, here's the movie and here's the actors and here is the people, the director, actors, when it's coming out, what they were known for. I think I found another one.
I'm like, have I heard of any of these?
Have you? Yes. Have you, Derick, heard of any of these? Let's go. Let's start there.
Yeah,
you should have heard of. You should have heard of one of them because it was my most anticipated movie of the year when we talked about it.
The whole year. Let's see here.
For the whole year.
Scrolling. I don't know. I guess we'll get to it when we get to it.
I mean, it's the main. What do you call that? The main highlight. The banner image is of the people in the movie that I talked about. Well, I'll just say it. Yeah, what's her name? Joan Schoenberg's next movie, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Yeah, so that's the main one there.
She was just on Blank Check, and she mentioned that a few times.
On Unbinder, yes, she was just on Blank Check. Yeah, she was on for probably one of the for David Peter Weir's movies, right? Recently.
Not David, but yeah, Peter Weir's movies.
David, yes, Peter Weir's. Thank you, Peter Weir.
Yes,
Peter's
I believe
Weir's.
they talked about Picnic at Hanging Rock, which I
did.
watched for the first time, and
yeah, good,
very ethereal, spooky movie. I loved it.
Yeah, it was very good.
The last time, yeah.
I can't find an article that was as well formatted as the other one, I should say. So I'm just going to go to the Wikipedia real quick and just name. So I'll just start saying some names here, folks. Let's strap in. Damian's going to say some names. It's that time of the show where Damian says some names. We got Pedro Almodovar. I know he's got one out this year. Actually, let me just start at the top here. Suzuki Hamaguchi has a new movie out. We talked about his 2021 movie that got nominated for Best Picture, Drive My Car, from that year. I really enjoyed his last movie, Evil Does Not Exist. He has a movie out at Cannes. We're talking about Cannes Film Festival 2026. He has a new movie out there called All of a Sudden, so I'll be very anticipated for that. When do the movies usually come out that debut at Cannes? Usually next year, right? Next year around this time is when we'll be seeing this stuff.
Late around this year, or anytime between coming out late in the year, the Oscar season, or 3 years later on a streaming service.
On a streaming service somewhere, yes.
Somewhere between that time frame.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Next up is somebody most people should have heard of. If you're a film fan, like we just mentioned, film fanatic, cinephile, the name Pedro Almodovar should be recognizable to anybody like that. He has a new film out at Cannes called Bitter Christmas. Not starring too many people that we know. Barbara Lenny, Leonardo Sabalhala. Going back to his Spanish roots after doing a few English language movies in the past couple of years. We have a new one from Paweł Pawlowski. This director, I know his name. These are guys that I know their names, but I haven't really seen a lot of their work. His last movie was called Fatherland. Oh, Cold War he did. And Ida from 2013. We also have, let's get some names in here we might know. Ira Sachs, who did Passengers. I always forget the name of what this movie was called. I think you watched it. I think you watched his movie.
One is a very good movie and one is a very bad movie. Was it
right.
Passages? Is the
Passages.
One with, the love triangle?
Yes.
Not the one where Chris Pratt is it's should be a horror movie with Jennifer Lawrence, but it's like a love story. Right.
No, not Passengers. Passages from 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, the movie with Franz Rogowski, Brent Whishaw, and Adele Exarchopoulos. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce her name, but that's what I'm going to go with.
Probably
not. Christian Mungiu, who directed 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days in 2007, 2008. Yeah, 2007, has a new movie out called Fjord. Has one of my favorite actresses in it, Rana Raitsev, alongside Sebastian Stan. They were also in An Unknown Man from a couple years ago. Yeah, go ahead.
I just said that's your girl and that's your boy.
Oh, I said, yes, that's my girl and my boy. My mommy and my daddy in one movie. We have a new one from Asghar Farhadi for somebody who's at risk of being detained for the rest of his life. The dude sure does make a lot of movies. His new movie is called, let's just scroll down here. New movie is called Parallel Tales. It's coming out this year at the Cannes Film Festival. Last one was called A Hero from 2021. A couple more people. Hirokazu Koreeda has a new movie out called Sheep in the Box. Hiroki Koreeda. Some movies that I've watched of his. Monster recently I watched was very good from 2023. Broker from the year before was very good. People should definitely check out his stuff if they like South Korean movies. He's one of the best. He was one of the best South Korean directors.
Recording on talking about Mickey 17, and me and my guest Law, we were talking about all great South Korean directors. So this one, we were talking about how a lot of the stuff coming out of that country is just the best stuff in the world. So I'll have to check this one out then whenever it drops.
Yeah, when it eventually gets out to the public. Yeah, he's one of the, if people want to check out other South Korean directors other than Bong Joon-ho, and I always forget his name, the guy that did Lady Vengeance trilogy.
Park Chan-wook.
Park Chan-wook, thank you. Yeah, those two guys are kind of the main South Korean directors that most people know, but there are many, many others. So yeah, I won't bore people to death with saying names. Just saying names from the list. We also have a new one from Nicholas Winding Refn. Let's see some other people. Yeah, there's many other movies coming out this year at the Cannes Film Festival. Things that I'm looking forward to. Maybe normies will as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see how they go. The drama probably was at Cannes one of these last few years.
It probably was. That's the one big thing that they noticed that Sean and Amanda were talking about when they announced the list was massive lack of American directors there this year, showing just kind of more and more evidence of the sort of waning influence of American directors and American film companies at the international film festivals.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot less Yanks over there, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to mention about that, we can move on to what we've been watching.
Yeah, we can go on to, because I did not even realize it was happening until I saw the doc. So.
The Cannes Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, it always sneaks up on you. Yeah. I think Sundance is January. Then the Cannes Film Festival kind of kicks off the international film festival circuit. I think Cannes is first, then Venice is like a month later. Then I know TIFF. No, TIFF's like way later, isn't it? Like in September, August, September.
I do not have my finger on the pulse of film festivals.
Yeah, no. I know there's New York. I know New York is pretty late. Speaking of film festivals, the Berkshire International Film Festival is happening next month. So if anybody's in Western Mass, in Eastern New York State, probably New York City too, you can head up to the Berkshires, up to Great Barrington. We'll be holding the 20th annual Berkshire International Film Festival in last weekend in May. So if anyone wants to check that out, you can still get tickets now. Tickets online now.
Cool. You heading over to that, or?
I am going to be volunteering for the first time. So yeah.
Ooh, very nice. Very cool.
Yeah, trying to get.
Maybe you'll have to write a thing for it on your Medium or something.
I definitely will be doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to what we've been watching. Not too much on my docket. Like I think a normal person would be like, "You have so many things," but compared to last time, I've just a little bit less than last time. Continuing with the Peter Weir Marathon, keeping up with the boys on the Blank Check podcast. I think they're one ahead on here. But I watched The Year of Living Dangerously from the year 1982, starring Mel Gibson, Sigourney Weaver, Bill Kerr, and the first major film featured Linda Hunt. If anybody is not familiar with Linda Hunt, she is like a huge influence on The Incredibles. Like I think her aesthetic was highly influenced on The Incredibles. Sort of, I forget the woman's name. The Incredibles, the one that does all the fashion for them.
Yeah, Mode.
No capes. What was her name?
Edna Mode.
And Edna Mode, yes. Very, very cool character there. Yeah, it's an interesting movie. I definitely think this is the first time I've diverted from the Blank Check guys when they're talking about this movie. I wasn't really too much of a fan of this one. I don't know why. It was just like it's not like massive like Western propaganda, but it definitely does take place from Australian point of view and about. So I'll just go to the synopsis real quick. See, the film stars Mel Gibson as Australian film journalist Guy Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver as a British embassy officer. Let's see. It follows a group of foreign correspondents in Jakarta during the weeks leading up to the attempted coup by the September 30 movement in 1965. So, it's about a journalist and an embassy person sort of having a love affair during the heady days of mid-60s Jakarta. It was pretty much that. It doesn't really get into the politics of it, which I guess is sort of a good thing because it's not really interested in that. Very beautifully shot. Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver were some of those beautiful people at that time. Probably the height of their aesthetic, I guess you would say. It was very, very much reminds me of like Benjamin Button, with Brad Pitt and what was her name? Brad Pitt and
Kate Blanchett.
Just at the height of their gorgeousness. This was very much like that
Right.
with Mel Gibson and Sigourney Weaver just being hot and beautiful and having hot, sweaty sex in Jakarta. Yeah. Yeah, it was
All right,
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. Let me see. This one is streaming. It is rentable right now. It's very difficult to find The Year of Dealing Dangerously. I think they mentioned that in the podcast as well.
Okay, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
you know where you can get these also? The library.
Library,
The
yeah.
Go to
You
your
could do
local
that.
library. They have DVDs. If they don't have it, you can request it from another branch, and it will come and go to you. So, highly recommend the library to anybody out there listening. If you want to get DVD, if you want to watch movies, that's better than any streaming services. Is my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good tip. All right. See, I thought I moved that to the bottom. The next one, I thought I moved to the bottom. But anyways, let's go to you. You checked out a movie that I've been very interested to see called Exit 8. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, so I saw this last week. Two movies based on video games in theaters that are out now. Spoiler alert: I liked one more than the other. This one is kind of a based on a it's a Japanese film based on a indie Japanese game. And it's just in the game you would just walk through this hallway. It's like kind of done as a walking simulator, and you try to notice if there's any differences in the room, and if there are, you go back, and if there are not, you move forward. You have to do it 8 times to get to the 8th exit.
Mm-hmm.
The film takes this concept, so it's very low budget film, just basically one set repeating over and over again, and it kind of makes it it gives it this really interesting framing story about this guy who his the beginning of the movie. This isn't really a spoiler because it's the first scene. His ex-girlfriend calls him up and she says he's pregnant, and he's kind of like trying to figure out how to move forward or not with that, if he feels like he's ready to be a father, or if he doesn't feel like he's worthy of it. It has a lot to do with mistakes and self-doubt and kind of being stuck in doing the same thing over and over again, taking the same train to work, on all this stuff. It is also just really a great psychological kind of horror/thriller about this guy, and just like all the horrible things that happen to it. Some things start to play out that are a little bit unexpected partway through. Just a great character study. Just really, at times, banal images that turn very disturbing. Sometimes the things are just horrific, and sometimes it's just like, what is that? I see a difference. You got it. What are you doing? So it keeps you on your toes the whole time. I really, really loved this movie, and it proves. Thank God this came out, because I just did a panel about how video game movies have gotten better, and after having seen the other video game movie, I was like, "Ooh, do I have to take this back?" But this reaffirmed my thesis.
Yes. Have you ever watched anybody play this game? Play Exit 8?
I haven't, so I went into this cold, and that's one thing I think video game movies have to do. Went into this on the panel. We all talked about this, about how they have to be accessible both for the players and people who have not played the game. And as someone who I hadn't played the game, I knew the concept of it because I'd heard some chatter about the movie, and then it becomes very clear, what is from the game once you watch the movie. I think it completely worked. I was totally sold on it. So really, really stoked on this one, even though I wasn't familiar with the source material.
Nice. Yeah. I watched some people play this. I also have a soft spot for like liminal space stuff. I think that's really a big aesthetic right now in video games, and also a lot of TV shows. I think you see that in like Severance. A lot of empty hallways and empty spaces. It's kind of a thing right now.
The back rooms, you're gonna love that shit. Back rooms,
yeah. That's I have a thing pulled up of horror movies coming out in the next next month actually, May 2026. Big month for horror movies. You mentioned Backrooms. You also have Hokum starring Adam Scott. We have one called Passenger coming out next month. Corporate Retreat is apparently another one. It's coming out next month. So yeah, big month for horror movies next month. Obviously, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 3. Can't wait for that one.
Great.
Yeah. The what is it called? Faces of Death came out this month, which I have yet to see. So yeah, huge year for horror movies this early 26.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you're more of a horror hound than I am,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like very psychological horror is always my favorite, and this definitely hit that sweet spot.
Nice, nice. All right, so next up for me, I shoot out one that I really wanted to see for a long time because I'm huge. I think speak of being fans of things, I'm a huge fan of amazing cinematography and camera work. And movie from 2006, directed by Tarsum Singh, called The Fall. It's always mentioned in those list of the best looking movies of all time. This is streaming right now on Kanopy in 4K, so I checked it out on there. This was also an early Lee Pace movie. Stars in this thing. It's really, really good. I wasn't sure what I was going to expect to go into this, but it is kind of the most appropriate and relevant comparison would be something like Pan's Labyrinth, where it is essentially a guy telling a story in early 1920s about some far off land, about a thing, far off fantastical land, and he's telling the story to a little girl. So it's very similar in that, where you have like real life put together with storytelling. So yeah, really, really amazing cinematography. I tried to pull up the guy's name. Colin Watkinson, I guess, is the cinematographer's name. I thought it was something else, but yeah, really, really amazing, well shot stuff here. A lot of practical effects, very interesting character and costuming, and all this stuff. So definitely recommend checking out The Fall, right? Streaming now on the Mubi, MUBI.
This was one that was for a very long time unwatchable. Like I talked about the library, but because it was not on any streaming service, you couldn't even rent it, and even the DVD was not available. There was no Blu-ray for this, and only very recently, with Mubi kind of getting the rights to it, did they get a 4K version of it? Did they get it back a physical media, and did it become streaming again? So this was kind of a not a lost movie, because you could still theoretically find like an old DVD or something, but like it was really, really difficult to watch this thing. So I'm glad that they have made it more widely available.
Yeah, I am too. It looks amazing. It looks amazing in 4K. So highly recommend streaming it now while it's still on there. Yeah. Let me do one more here. I finally went over the hump. There was a huge blockade in my Best Picture marathon watching, because I was in the sludge, the slop era of the 80s, where it was just some terrible stuff. I was trying to work my way through. Let me pull up the 80s winners of the Best Pictures. Best Picture in the 80s. You have Ordinary People in 80, which is pretty good. And then the one that really I got stuck on was Chariots of Fire. I finally saw that a few weeks ago. Gandhi won in 82, which I'd seen quite a couple years ago, so I skipped that. In terms of endearment, it was really good. We talked about Amadeus on your show, Amadeus Minute. Amadeus. Amadeus. That was very good, obviously. Classic masterpiece. Checked out of Africa recently. Did not care for it very much. Platoon I've seen fairly recently, so I skipped over that. And so this time I checked out The Last Emperor from 86, and it won the 1987 Best Picture. This is directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, starring John Lone, Joan Chen, and Peter O'Toole. This is the film depicts Piu's life. The last emperor's name was Piu. Life from his ascent to the throne as an infant to his imprisonment and political rehabilitation by the Chinese Communist Party in the early days of the 20th century. So, yeah, it's another reason I was avoiding it for so long is because it's almost 3 hours. I do think it really does it earns its long running time. I think it's a very epic story. Obviously, it starts as a child, and it's cutting back and forth between him as a child and him as an adult. So you're kind of waiting to figure out, why is he where he is? How does he get there? How does he get from such a life of luxury to where he is at the end? So I thought that was an interesting storytelling technique, because it kind of draws you in to be like, okay, tell me how we got to such a different place. Really well acted. I think Peter O'Toole is obviously one of the greats, so he does a very good job. He's playing tutor to the emperor. I was going back and forth. I'm watching this movie, trying to watch this movie as closely as possible, but I was very, very interested in, how does an empire fall? How does it go from, because what the story is, the China for a long time was ruled by emperors for thousands of years, and they finally went to whatever kind of situation they're in now. Is a republic, is whatever you want to call it, right? They have presidents now, but it was for a long time, I guess at this point, it was warlords taking over, and so that at one point the former emperor is sort of still in the Forbidden City, and he keeps hearing all this fighting outside, and he's like, oh, it's probably just another warlord taking over, not a big deal. But eventually somebody does finally take foothold and removes him from the Forbidden City, and it forces him to leave. And sort of Peter O'Toole is sort of there taking care of him up until that point. It's a really interesting snapshot of early 20th century, just that whole era, because I am somewhat familiar with Manchuria. Manchuria was a place where Japan took over for a long time in the 1930s. They were incredibly brutal, taking over the parts of Manchuria, and they bombed Shanghai, or I think they bombed Shanghai or another major city. But they were absolutely just brutally killing people, and obviously the rape in Nanking was something they did. But it's just, from seeing what they did from the Chinese point of view, is very distressing. Very, very well made movie. I think this is probably one of the best picture winners. Once I get done with this project, I'll definitely be ranking them. This is probably going to be up there as one of the best picture winners. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, this has always been one that I've been really interested to see. Like you though, like it's large runtime. Has never been like sat down. I'm like, today's the day for the Last Emperor, But it's always been one that it has struck me as seeming really interesting. This kind of historical epic biopic sounds really good. I'm gonna definitely. It's on my watch list, so who knows? Maybe it'll pop up sometime soon when we do our little Letterboxd shuffle.
Yeah, it's streaming right now on Criterion and HBO Max, so fairly easy to see. So that's one of the big humps I had to get over. I think the next one, is not very good, but at least it's like 89 minutes or 95 minutes. Driving Miss Daisy from 89, and then Dances with Wolves after that. I saw Unforgiven recently. I saw Silence of the Lambs like over and over again. I've seen Schindler's List recently, so I really just have a couple major epics. Dance with the Wolves, Braveheart. I have yet to see. I have no idea how that won over.
Braveheart.
Yeah, I have not seen Braveheart. Nope, never.
Oh, that was like a classic from my childhood. I was too young to watch it.
Laid eyes on the thing. Yeah. Let me see what else. Then Shakespeare in Love. So just another what do they call that? The Weinstein forced that one through. Yep. Man, that was a banger year. Shakespeare in Love, Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, Saving Private Ryan, and A Thin Red Line. Like every other movie should have won. Like literally any other one. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah. And then after that, it's just one more. I just got to see. Actually, no. Sorry, two more. Crash and Green Book from the 2000s and 2010s. Is it?
The most beloved pictures. Crash and Green Book. People love them.
Saving the best for last. All right. Let's go back to you. You saw, like we said, like you started off the podcast talking about, biggest movie in the world. I think it's made like $500 million. It's tearing up the charts. Going to be Best Picture nominated coming next Oscars, which is still going to be in March next year. Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Galaxy, the movie. Derick, what did you think of this?
I'm obviously a big video game fan. I've played quite a lot of Mario. I was a Nintendo kid growing up. In many ways, still am. I was not a fan of the first Mario, or the first of this new series of Mario movies that came out a couple years ago, starring Chris Pratt. So I was hoping, as we talked about on this, I was like, well, maybe this one will be better. It is. I will say that the quality of this one is vastly, vastly different than the quality of the last movie, because this one is significantly worse. This movie is, if you can even call it a movie, is horrible. One of the things that I complained about with the last Mario movie was that it shoehorns things into the plot just to be like, hey, here's that thing from Mario. And this does that, but there's not even a plot. It's just a series of things that happen. There is no if then. There is only this happens, this happens, this happens. Every beat in the movie is not connected to the beat that took place prior. They only have every story, if you could call it a story beat, only happens as a way to put in more fan service. It's a way for it to put in more, hey, look at that thing, do the Leo meme. It is abysmal storytelling. And it's just like they just shoehorn in, and spoilers, I guess, but like they already spoiled this. Fox McCloud is in the movie more than Rosalina, which is insane because Rosalina, it's a Super Mario Galaxy movie, and at least the last one, they're like, well, we're not these games. They always kind of make the princess the damsel in distress. We're not going to really do that. We're going to make it a little bit different. This one's like, no, no, don't worry. Rosalina literally is a damsel in distress this entire movie, but it's okay because Peach saves her. Also, for some unknown to me reason, other than they're both blondes, they're like Peach and Rosalina. They're sisters. So that ruined a lot of fans art on the internet. I guess a lot of shippers are upset about that one, but it's lacks anything of any substance whatsoever. It looks pretty. It's cool to see these things that I recognize from the games. There's also a lot of other Nintendo characters that just show up for no reason. There is one cameo from a non-Mario Nintendo character that actually works for me a little bit. It happens right before you see Fox actually, that I won't spoil, but I did enjoy. But the rest of it is all just throwing as much shit on the screen as we can. There are so many character arcs and character traits that are set up and then are just never ever paid off. And I'll give you an example. At the beginning of the movie, there's this whole thing about how Mario has feelings for Peach. And oh, is he going to tell her his feelings, or what's going to happen with that? And it literally goes nowhere. There's a whole character arc where Bowser, is he good now? And that character arc is immediately abandoned as long as it doesn't serve the process of like we have to get characters into certain positions. That's all that does. That's all anything happens is removing pieces around the board so that we can have cameos. I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, Sean and Amanda on the Big Pig described it as evil. It's an evil film.
Yeah, and here's
Yeah.
the thing too. I saw like a TikTok or a reel or something, and I think that there might be the reason that there might be so many cameos in this from other Nintendo characters is because
Yeah.
Illumination is making a power grab, because there's no Zelda in this, there's no Link in this, obviously, because they're getting their own live action movie, which I'm excited for. I'm glad that Zelda's not being drugged into the fucking Minions Illumination, depths here.
Yeah.
But it felt like Illumination's like, well, we lost Zelda, let's put in Star Fox, let's put in all the other Nintendo characters so that when they make those movies, it's like, whoa, this is the same Fox that we saw. I don't know if they're gonna. It seems like they're building up towards like a Smash Brothers crossover movie, and with how successful this movie has been financially, that's probably going to happen. Is it going to be like a Robert Pattinson Batman situation in the new DC universe where they're like, oh, he's over here doing this, he's not with the other with what's happening in the main thing? Is there going to be a different Link? Like, I hate everything about this movie. Pretty much, it was nice to see some Nintendo characters and stuff that I recognized, but the way that they got it to happen was just infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess, again, as movie fans, as people like to go see original things, like if this is what it takes to keep movie theaters open and to get, better things in there, then I guess I'll take it, right?
Oh man, I don't know. Just make the fucking Mario movie good.
Yeah.
People are gonna see it.
Yeah.
It's Mario, like just make it good.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's so frustrating.
No, I know. I'm not saying they can't be good. I think people have this expectation or this. I don't know. I specifically remember one of the last times I saw a movie with friends. It was what was it? Thor: Love and Thunder. And we get out of the theater. I'm like, man, that was terrible. The jokes were bad. Action was bad. Blah blah blah. And my friend was like, yeah, but it's an action comedy. I'm like, so action comedies don't have to be good? It's like, yeah, anything can be good. Animated movie can be good. A movie for kids can be good. Disney has shown that. Pixar has shown that. The medium doesn't matter. The genre doesn't matter. A horror movie can be good. Animated movies can be good. Animated movies for kids can be good. Lego movies have shown that. So yeah, there's definitely no reason that this has to be terrible.
And people are like, well, what were you expecting? Oh, like
Yeah.
it's an animated movie for
Yeah.
kids. I'm like, that doesn't mean it has to
Nope.
be shit. Like
Nope.
the Lego movie, right? That's a movie that is all about like all these different IPs coming together. That movie is heartwarming as fuck. It has something to say. The plot makes sense. You care about the characters. And it's another movie where Chris Pratt stars in it, and you care about his character. His character has actual traits. Oh, geez, can you believe it? Traits to a character? But like, and it's like that excuse is just rings so hollow for me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, a couple more things.
Anyway,
Anyways, a couple more things on my docket here before we get to the review of the week. Again, talking about Peter Weir. They're doing all of Peter Weir's stuff, and they didn't cover us on the main feed, but they covered it on the Patreon feed. The Blank Check guys did. The Plumber. Peter Weir's The Plumber from 1979. This stars Judy Morris and Ivar Kantz. The way they describe this, the way a lot of people have described this, is like the plumber. It's like the plumber version of the cable guy. It's like the cable guy, but with a plumber. Just like a really annoying dude just coming in to do some simple work, and it takes forever, and the wife's getting pissed off. And it reminded me a lot of If I Had Legs That Kick You, because that's a major plot point in that movie of, she needs repairs done to her house, and the repair guys that come over are either inept or purposefully trying to be inept or not listening to her, and she's trying to talk to her husband, and her husband's not listening. And but it is so over the top ridiculous with the things that guy does and just how he's fucking up the bathroom and how he's being, and he's not like he's not sexually assaulting her. He makes jokes about it, but he's not like what do you call that? He's not violent or he's not dangerous. That's what I'm trying to say. He's just super annoying. So yeah, it's an interesting, like 80 minutes, almost looks like a student film, but this would have been his like third film. I think it was like a made for TV movie, but it does look pretty good for those standards. So yeah, check it out. I think it's streaming right now on it's on Criterion right now. I thought it was on Kanopy, but it's on Criterion. So yeah, check that out if you really want to be if you want to be a uber Peter Weir completionist.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of Peter Weir stuff I'll probably have to get to before this one.
Yeah.
But it's a nice 76 minutes, which is always good to knock it out really quick and over an afternoon.
Yes, and speaking of early auteur films that are very, very short, I also checked out Dark Star, John Carpenter's first movie. This is directed by him, written by him, and Dan O'Bannon, which people are, if anybody knows his name, he was pretty, not singular, but very, very influential in the making of computer animated stuff from Star Wars and from Heavy Metal and Total Recall, and wrote and directed, Return of the Living Dead. So major, what would you call that? Like the guy, what's his name? Like a Roger Corman type, just very intensely passionate about filmmaking in the 70s and 80s. So one of the most important guys, important background guys, not a director, not a major director, not a major writer, not a major actor, but one of those guys that kind of propped up the early,
journeyman
guys, exactly. This looks like a student film. Looks like a first film. According to Wikipedia, the budget was $60,000 and actually looks really good for that amount of money. Obviously, that's 1975 money, but still looks really, really good. The sets look really good. The acting is pretty good. The effects are pretty good. So yeah, pretty good movie made for $60,000 in 1975. Yeah.
Yep. Fair. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Johnny Carpenter guy. See if his career picks up.
Yes. Oh, speaking of, let me just pivot real quick. The thing I didn't write down, but I watched this right before we hopped on here. Primate. Did you see Primate?
God, no.
No.
Was it any good?
I checked it out. Not really. No. But the reason I'm bringing it up,
it's just like, what if the first scene from Nope was a whole movie, right?
Yeah, that is, yes, you're not wrong. That is the premise. It is loosely based on a real life event that took place in 2009 about a woman who got her face ripped off, and she actually survived the attack. And it's based on like her friend calling the police, and actually, because it reminded me during one of the scenes in the movie where her friend gets into her car, makes the phone call, and she says, I think verbatim, the 991 phone call. But the reason I bring it up now when we're talking about Carpenter is I think Primate has huge Carpenter influences, especially with the music, like a synth. It has a very synth score to it, and also there's a scene where the two of the girls are hiding in a closet, and it's very, obviously a Halloween homage there, homage or ripoff, whatever, what do you want to call it? But yeah, it was could do worse for 93 minutes or whatever, free on Amazon Prime, whatever. So yeah, there was that. I think we got to everything. So let's get to the big one. We got Christoph Borgli's The Drama. This is produced by Ari Aster. Stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. I feel like there was a few other people in this. Yeah. So I guess we won't talk about the spoiler, but I do just want to talk about who are in this. I think if you want to go in completely blind and don't want to know who's even in it other than Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, skip ahead for now. Alana Haim is in this, plays one of the major characters in this. I think what do we think about Alana Haim? I've really enjoyed her work with Paul Thomas Anderson. She had that amazing death scene in in One Battle After Another from last year, right? How are you hot, cold on Alana Haim, in between Alana Haim? How do you feel about her?
Yeah, I think she's great. She hasn't really been in that much stuff yet, but she had a big breakout in Licorice Pizza, and then reteamed with PTA for One Battle. I didn't see The Mastermind. I know she was in that, but this is probably her biggest role it is her biggest role that I've seen since Licorice Pizza. So yeah, I think she's a really great performer. Great actress, I should say, because she obviously comes from music. But I thought she was great in this.
Yeah. So tell me, Derick. Let's. I have a lot to say about this movie. There is a lot to say about this movie. Why don't you kick us off? What'd you think of The Drama?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies you walk out of and you're like, was that good? Was that bad? What do I think about that movie? I watched it last night, like I said, and I still haven't completely settled on it. Maybe I will in this conversation, but I mean, I guess it's one of those movies where I think they very smartly did the opposite of Nintendo Illumination revealing a poster with a major spoiler character in it. They played this very close to the vest. They advertised this in ways that were non-traditional. And so it's just about this married couple, and something comes up between them and starts to derail, or this engaged couple starts to derail things right a week before the wedding. And the best way I can describe this is kind of one of the most depressing Tim and Eric sketches you'll ever see. And I guess we'll go full spoilers here.
Yeah.
You find out relatively early on in the movie that when the character played by Zendaya was young, where they kind of are having this drunk night where they're tasting different wines for the wedding with the best man and maid of honor. They kind of had this moment where they're all saying the worst things they've ever done, and Zendaya as Emma admits that she almost committed a school shooting when she was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kind of like reactions to that are like, oh, what, and some react with anger. Robert Pattinson is kind of like, I don't know how to process this. And it becomes this movie about, how do we, like, someone almost did something incredibly horrible. They didn't go through with it. Are they still that same person? Are we defined by the worst things that we've done in life? Why are we defined by kind of like defined by our worst traits? I think it examines all that in a really in-depth, interesting way, as both these characters and those around them just start to spiral into an ending that is just it's this movie is very difficult to watch because these people are just like destroying their lives and just saying and doing the most apparent awful things, and you're just like, I hate this, I hate you. And you're just spinning and watching, but all the performances and it's so great, the writing's really good, and I'm just like, I really haven't still settled on it, but I think it is asking some interesting questions about, do people change? Do people are like, if we what is it's almost like that game is like, it's like that hypothetical game. It's like, well, hey, what if your significant other, you found out that when they were 15 they planned to do a school shooting, but they didn't do it. But the only reason they didn't do it was because of a different school shooting that happened. And then they actually became a huge advocate. Like, well, how would you feel about that? Would that change the way you feel? Would you report them to the cops? It's like this weird thought experiment made into a movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's a thought experiment made to a movie. I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the discussions that Sean and Amanda had of like, is this a thought experiment or is this an exercise? Meaning, like, is this just a short story that they're just trying to present as like, oh, isn't this a crazy thing that might have happened? Like, what would you do? Like, it's a psychological it's a psychological and moral like quandary of like, what would you do in this situation? But except that it's not really answering the question. You know what I mean? It's posing the question. Yeah. It's posing this moral quandary. It's posing this like, it's an experiment. I don't know if they use the word experiment, but I know they definitely use the word exercise as opposed to something else. I forget what the other thing was, but it doesn't really give you easy answers, which I usually like, but except that, in this you kind of need them at a certain point because, let me back up, because the thing that they were talking about and saying at the inciting incident, as they're sitting around and saying, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And the two other people said like, I didn't step in when my wife or my girlfriend was being attacked by a dog. He put her, in front of him, used her as a human shield. And the woman that starts the whole thing, what was her thing? That just like her thing was terrible.
Really bad.
Her thing was
really
terrible.
Bad too.
Yes.
Like she's the most judgmental, but I'm like, yours is objectively like horrible, and it like something you did that could have led to like death,
yes.
that you took no responsibility for, and you're the most judgmental, which I thought was very fascinating.
I do want to
and it seems like Robert Pattinson lies. I think he bullshits with his story.
You think that was bullshit?
I think that was bullshit. I think he just was like, I cyberbullied a guy. Like, I think he doesn't really want to think about that, he doesn't want to fit because he knows he'll fixate on something that he did, so he just deflects. Like, I think he probably maybe like, because you see the way he acts around women, it's probably something related to that.
Yeah, I mean, that quote unquote meet cute was also, I knew exactly what kind of movie we were in for when that scene started, where he's like trying to walk up to her and taking the picture of the book and pretending he read the book. But let's go back to what he said, because I thought okay, now that you said that you think he made up the cyberbullying thing, it makes sense that they didn't like reference it again, because, what Zendaya almost did, she admitted to almost shooting up her school because she was bullied. So I thought that was interesting that Pattinson's thing was never brought up, because what he did, or what he claimed to do, was directly related to what she almost did, right? Because he claimed to be a bully. So he claimed to bully someone so bad that they had to move, which is the reason, like, wasn't, she said she was bullied, which we don't have to get into, like, is that an excuse? Is that justifiable? Whatever. But let's just say, she was bullied and she did feel like outcast and she felt isolated because of bullying. I thought it was really interesting and kind of weird that that she never called him out on his thing, because it was what she went through,
Because he kind of even hedges. He's like, they moved, but it might have been a coincidence. I think maybe he just like sent some messages to somebody online. They took it a bad way, and then a little bit later that person. Because we also see that he's a liar. He lies like later on when it comes to he's talking to the couple, best man and Maid of Honor, and he's just like he like takes this thing that there's a grain of truth to, but makes it in this whole like he makes an excuse for her the reason she was thinking this, like about her like being, well, like she saw her best friend die and she's like, oh, it was a neighbor and I wasn't there, I didn't really know them that well.
Yes.
Like, it messed her up for so long, so we know he's a fucking liar. And then he also lies about the fact that he cheats on her, like he makes out with the other random girl from Challengers. So like it's just he's just a liar, so I think that's total bullshit.
Yeah, first of all, let's take a little side detour to the one he makes out with. Like, whatever going on with her eyes, I would do terrible things for her. Man, she's got something going on in her eyes and her look and her thing that's just like, wow, okay. I like that a lot. I like the look of that person a lot. Haley Gates is the person we're talking about. Misha. Misha was the character in the movie. Let's see. Where should we go from there? Well, so Alana Haim is obviously the villain of the movie. She spurs on the whole discussion. She did the worst thing of all of them and then flips out on her. This movie is really, really insane. It's kind of this thing of like, I think it's if there's any message, is there any kind of theme or whatever running through it, it's just like, these people with these kind of bullshit jobs, these very, bougie people with kind of no real problems, kind of make their own problems, kind of eat themselves. They kind of, it's not an eat the rich movie. It's kind of the rich eat themselves. I guess if that's the main thrust of it, right?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess he's like a museum director, but she's like a bookstore clerk, which kind of is like my job. But, but yeah, like I think that there is like some of that. I guess like I don't know what she says. She's a bookstore clerk on the Wikipedia, but I think she's like works in marketing or something. It seems like. But yeah, so I think you might have a point of just like they make their problems, but I think it's more of just like these things we do that we bury down are the worst things of us. Are those forgivable? Like, are we the same people? Does it count if we didn't do it? We just thought about it, and then like coming clean better, or is it like keeping that buried down? So I think that the way it has all these questions, but like as you said, no answers about morality is, I won't say it's good or bad, but it's fascinating.
It is really fascinating. Christopher Borgli, the director of this movie, directed 2023's Dream Scenario. It's, described as a surreal satirical comedy drama. So it's definitely, has this sort of European. He was born in Oslo, Norway, so it's definitely a European, more, but also the sort of Ruben Östlund arena of uncomfortable social drama thing. Like, it definitely reminded me of Force. You ever seen the movie Force Majeure?
I've seen the American remake that nobody seems to like.
Did you? Yeah. So you get the story, but imagine that, but with like this kind of tone and this sort of dark satirical, comedy, very, very dark comedy, satirical comedy, social satirical comedy. Yeah, that's definitely their bag. Their sort of deal is that, think about like Triangle of Sadness. That's very sort of dry. Like very dry. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, as far as like, I don't want to finish it up here, but just as far as like a good original, movie for adults, I think, it's doing really well. It's made that like $43 million on a $28 million budget. So it's doing really well. I'm really glad to see things on the public. That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, I don't know about your audience last night, but I had one of the best audience experiences in a very long time watching this, where people were just, I don't know how I heard it, but I could hear people cringing. I could hear people sucking in breath. I could hear people like, wringing their hands. It was so uncomfortable, but like the moments where, so right after she admits to what she did, or I think it was like the day after, right? And they are going to they're going to the photographer, and the photographer is telling them what she wants to do, and she's like, "I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot your husband. I'm going to shoot your family." So, but in the context of what she said she did, it's like my audience was laughing hysterically. I don't know how. Tell me about how your audience experience went.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw this late night. It wasn't a packed audience, but there was some people in there, and it was a lot of like awkward laughs. It was a lot of like this is funny, but like, should I be laughing? There's a lot of like when that shooting scene happens, and I want to say that also that's punctuated by there's like the sounds of the flashbulb just psh, 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 it's almost like shotguns happening, and it's this like and I was doing it too. There's this very like oh my gosh, like what the fuck kind of laugh that was happening a lot in that theater.
Yes, that was a lot of what I heard as well. Just extremely well paced. Well-paced humor, but also like, Jesus Christ, the wedding scene, that whole thing just went off the rails so fucking fast when the woman walked in. Zendaya and Pattinson are in the back room, and they bring in Misha, who Pattinson cheated on. And as soon as she walks in, she like Zendaya's going to ask to start a whole different conversation. But then she walks in, she's like, I didn't do anything. He kissed me first. And she's like, what? Wait, what? I was going to say something completely different. It's just these constant.
She even gives him a chance to come clean, like right before that, because he kind of like spills it to her. But no, yeah.
Yeah, that entire scene was incredible. And then I do like, what did you make of all of these sort of quick cuts to a lot of that stuff of like, let's go back to like the first couple ones where it's Zendaya the day after she, had the fiasco. Because we kind of caught in very quickly to when Pattinson's talking to his friend, and his friend's like, "Oh, you're gonna break it off, right? Yeah. I'll break it off. You can go somewhere else. You can live here for a while. What do you want me to do? I can punch her, whatever, if you need me to." And I was like, "Wait, what? Did that?" What did you make of all of that stuff?
It was not. I was like, I was not even clear if that was happening or if it was something that Zendaya was imagining.
Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to be ambiguous. I'm going to take it as like that was a real scene, but it also could have just been something that was in either of their imaginations.
I like that a lot of like we're kind of seeing into their heads a little bit. Yeah, just so many great lines too. I think a lot of the reviews on Letterboxd highlighted a lot of the quotes here. Let me pull up some of them. One guy was like, "Yeah, I can't believe this." What was it? Oh, that twist was crazy. I can't believe the DJ worked with one of the waiters before. It was like that kind of thing. I love that DJ came in and was like, "You cannot believe this, dude. I worked with that waiter before. Isn't that nuts?" Just looking through my review, see if there's anything else. Anything else you wanna pull out from this movie that we haven't talked about yet?
We hit on all of it. I like that this movie is also just like a tight, 100 whatever minutes.
Yes.
So like, because I don't know how long you want to stay in this movie. Like I'm glad it was something because it like by the end that wedding scene where he gives the speech is one of the most difficult scenes I've ever had to sit through. But I do like the kind of recurring theme of like, let's start over, let's give each other a fresh start, let's give each other another chance, and that's how the movie kind of ends. I liked that bookend.
Yeah, I did too. I liked, I know it's not just a reference to Before Sunrise, but that thing where they kept pretending to just meet for the first time was very nice. I mean, the almost sex scene was just so well staged because he goes in for the kiss, they start making out, and she just turns around. Like, he just pulls up her skirt, and she's like, okay, I guess this is happening.
She's like fucking down. And it's funny because it happens right after she's like, oh yeah, the worst thing I ever did was like, cheat on somebody. And like, I agree with what you're saying. Like, yes, like her look very much worked on me too. But like, say the way they do like her makeup and her kind of overall look, she looks like somebody who would be down to cheat.
Yes.
Like they just like have made it's a very very good job with costuming and makeup. And then she's just like, oh yeah, this is happening. I'm like into it. I am so down for this. And then she's like almost kind of like more mad. She's like, oh, rip my skirt and didn't even fuck me, like I thought it was a great kind of moment,
yeah, this is definitely a movie that you just want to show people. You just want to put it on and be like, guys, you have to watch this. Yeah
I don't know about that. I don't know if I ever want to watch this with anyone.
No. Because I don't know.
Like, no, I mean it was a good movie, but like I think but like it was so cringy that I was just like it's hard to watch.
It is cringy, but I also think it's one of those things where did you guys know fucking Batman and Zendaya are in this movie where they fucking she plays an almost school shooter and he fuck his coworker and they have this blow up at a wedding. Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those like in a few years of like because they're going to go on to like do massive movies, and I don't know how much they got paid for this, and I don't know what they read, what they thought about reading the script and all that, but yeah, it's just one of those things in the next couple of years people are going to revisit this and be like, did you guys know they were in this movie about this thing? Yeah.
So what did you see there's like this little clip that's kind of gone viral where it's like the two of them and it's like the agree disagree with the like the glasses or whatever and it's just like Spider-Man versus Batman, who would win, and it's like immediately like as like slams down like strongly group, and Pattinson's like, I gotta put it on Batman. She's like, yeah, you don't believe that. But he's like, I have to, like, contractually. It's this very good moment between the two of them. Yeah, like kind of plays off of what you're just talking about.
Yeah, man, they're gonna be in so much shit like Dune 3, The Odyssey,
Yeah.
Yeah, just so much shit in the next couple of years. All right, so that was a review of
Have you
the
seen that Venn
drama.
diagram of like it's them and Tom Holland and just like all the movies that they're all in, like some of them are in together.
Yes, yeah. We need more movie stars. Like they were doing 30, the best 35 under 35, and I think these two, they all fit into there. And just, yeah, we need way more youngish actors because it cannot be these three fuckers in every movie going forward. I like them. I like them a lot, but we need a little variety here.
Well,
Yeah.
you got Jennifer Lawrence. I guess
Yeah.
she's not under 35, but she's like 30. She's my age. She's 36.
Yeah.
But there's also it's a movie about a Robert Pattinson marrying somebody who is maybe a psychopath and having a huge crash out at their wedding. That also happened this year.
That's weird. It happened twice, and I have 2 nickels. All right, so that was the drama. We both recommend checking it out in theaters right now. Let's move on to Letterboxd assignments. My assignment last time was Floating Weeds. It is streaming right now on Kanopy. This is Yasuhiro Ozu's. Let me see what year this was from. 1959. Yeah, this is one of his most highly rated movies. One of them I have yet to see. Yeah, this is probably one of his most violent movies. Speaking of drama with violence that kind of comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it's definitely it's about a theater troupe who goes back to one of the master's hometown. He visits an old flame. And the synopsis is he goes back to an old flame. He unintentionally sets off a chain of unexpected events with devastating consequences. So, Ozu movies are usually very quiet, very tame, very restrained. It's just characters and family members kind of, working out their what would you call it? Their tensions, their unresolved tensions, their old wounds that are opening back up because, most of them are about daughters or sons getting old enough to leave the nest, and they're finally hashing out their grudges and all that stuff. And this is very much about a father who has pretended to be his son's uncle. So that sort of comes out, another movie about a secret coming out. And so it gets very heated by the end. It's a Ozu and the other guy I was talking about the other week, not Bong Joon-ho, Hong Sang-soo. Both of these guys make movies where they're so sublime and so quiet that any sort of argument is like an explosion. So there's really not much that needs to happen in any of the movies for you to kind of, sit up and look and be like, holy shit, what just happened? So yeah, it's very good. It's streaming right now on Kanopy. It's about 120 minutes, so would recommend.
Nice, very nice.
Your assignment last time was Three Kings. Who directed this?
David O. Russell.
David O. Russell. Did you check out Three Kings?
I did. Three Kings came out in that great year of 1999.
Best movie year ever.
Best movie year ever, except for 2007, Loki.
Okay.
But yeah, this movie is, obviously it's Clooney, it's Ice Cube, it's Mark Wahlberg, and it's Spike Jonze. That's 4 characters. I don't know why it's called Three Kings, but okay. But this is a quintessential C+ of a movie. It's a decent but not great kind of political thriller that sort of is saying something but doesn't really more than scratch the surface about the first Iraq War. It's also a decent action movie that gets pretty cheesy at times. It's also a C+ of a heist movie where they're these characters going for these bars of gold, and that resolved pretty quickly. The heist parts in the beginning of the movie, I thought it was going to be a lot more prevalent. And so it's all around. It's a movie that does a lot of things just okay. Like none of them. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, it's trying too much and it doesn't really work. It's just like it's doing a lot of things and it's doing them all competently enough that this is a real throw it on in the background kind of movie. Clooney's kind of doing a good job. The rest, Spike Jonze isn't really an actor. The rest, it's weird because Clooney's the only like person who's like a real actor at this point. Like I know Mark Wahlberg is an actor now, and so is IQ, but they're both rap. They're just both musicians. So like it was kind of weird that this is early roles for a lot of them, and yeah, I can see David Russell really. I know that people don't really like him anymore because he's an asshole. But I've never really been the biggest fan of his. Like even Silver Linings Playbook, I think is good, but it's not the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one was just pretty mediocre for me. Not a bad movie. Does a lot of things, just okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big Orso guy either. Thought The Fighter was probably one of his best ones just because I like Christian Bale a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silver Linings Playbook, yeah, very good. He just has made just weird shit. Amsterdam, I haven't seen, but I heard it's kind of weird.
Amsterdam sucks so much. It was so bad. It's unintentionally hilarious at a couple points when like somebody just randomly out of nowhere pushes Taylor Swift under a car. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's not supposed to be funny. It's literally like the funniest scene I've seen in a movie in like 5 years.
Did you hear what his new movie this year is called?
Oh, I did. Remind me.
Madden. It's about John Madden.
Oh yeah, it's because it's the one where Nick Cage is John Madden, and I mean, I didn't. At first I didn't realize that was him.
Yep.
Like it was Russell, but I was just like, oh man, Nick Cage is John Madden. I might have to see. And who plays Al Davison? Is it?
Christian Bale.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just like, fuck. I gotta see that. I gotta see that. And like there's that scene where he's like right on the board. He's like, this guy goes here. This guy goes here. This guy goes here. And the guy's like, okay. It's like pretty spot on recreation of like the actual scene that happened.
Yeah.
So I am like, I have to see that though. I think.
I do too. I really want to see that for those two guys. Catherine Hahn is playing Virginia Madden, John's wife. I really want to see John Mulaney as Trip Hawkins. Right. Trip Hawkins here. That's John Mulaney's voice. We're playing football today.
Interesting. That's your Mulaney?
That's my Mulaney. He talks really loud. He's like a lower pitched David Lynch.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, man.
Okay.
But sure, why not?
There's a horse in a hospital. It's an analogy. The horse is Trump.
Yeah, he does do that joke.
He does do that joke. This is David O. Russell's Three Kings. It seems like a early Soderbergh, like no sudden move type.
That vibe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good. Let's move on to our next assignment. Let me see here. Go to my watch list. I've been trying to, like I said last time, I've been trying to prune it down, trying to add some better stuff here, quote unquote better stuff. Let's see what we get. I hit shuffle. Okay, I got one. I've wanted to watch for a while. It's a short one. It's a silent movie directed by F.W. Murnau. It's called Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. Do you know why this movie is famous?
I mean, because it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I fucking love Sunrise. It's in a masterpiece. Like what? Like, is there something specific you're talking about?
Yeah, it. I believe it's the only movie because this is the first year of the Best Picture category. I believe this is true.
Yeah, it was when they split it into two categories, and it's like retroactively. They say Wings is, but this was kind of like they had the two Best Pictures.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. It got Outstanding Picture. Yes, Best and Unique Artistic Picture at the first annual Academy Awards. All right.
Yeah. I'm very curious to hear what you think about this movie because this is my favorite silent film. Not that I've seen a lot of silent films, but I fucking love silent. It's so it was on the top 100 when AFI did their list in 2007. I think it's a goddamn masterpiece.
Nice. I'll be checking out for it next time, Derick.
Yeah. Don't go with too high expectations.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. I think I would still say my favorite silent film is City Lights. Mr. What's his freaking name? Chaplin. Yeah.
I don't think I have seen City Lights. Have I? I can't remember.
It's the one where he helps the blind woman She like runs a flower restaurant, flower
Oh
place.
yeah. I have seen that one. I have
Okay,
seen that one.
gotcha. Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
good.
it's fine. It's not my favorite Chaplin, but yeah, I might go with the
What's
Gold
your
Rush.
Gold Lush? Yeah, yeah. The scene in the cabin, amazing, amazing
Yeah.
stuff. Yep. All right, go to your watch list. Spin a Rooney. Let me know what you get.
Yep. Let me back up from City Lights because I was looking it up as we were talking. All right, here we go. Boom, 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 and hitting sh- short by shuffle, and I got okay. The movie where Harry Potter has a boner around a horse, but that's actually not. But that's just later on. Equus. The reason I have this on my list is it's directed by Sidney Lumet, and it is written by Peter Shaffer, same guy who wrote Amadeus, who, as we've alluded to, is that's one of my favorite movies. So this is his other play that got turned into a film. So we'll see how this one goes. Richard Burton stars is the Harry Potter in this.
Richard Burton is Harry Potter.
Because Daniel Radcliffe, there was a whole thing
Oh,
where Daniel Radcliffe was in a Broadway production or a London production or something of this play,
okay.
and there's a nude scene where he's next to a horse. So people were like, Harry Potter's got his wieners are out around a horse. Can you believe it? So that's like my only context for this movie.
Okay. I haven't even heard of this movie before you mentioned it. Okay. All right. Let me see. Yes, Lament is one of those guys. He's one of the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the fucking guys. His first movie was 12 Angry Men. His last movie was Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. That's 50 years, 57 to 2007, and made a lot of bangers in that time.
A lot of bangers. I checked out Failsafe, I think last year, a couple years ago. Amazing film. Yeah, one of the greats. One of the freaking greats. All right, so that's yours for next time. Let me. I just had it pulled up. Yeah. Okay. So we'll be checking that out there. All right, so that's what we're doing for next time and for next time. Again, we're kind of doldrums of April, May. Hopefully next time we'll have a bit more to present here. I put this on here as a joke, just so you know. Movie's called Bus Boys, coming out April 17th, directed by John Fingold, starring David Spade and Theo Vaughn and some other fuckers from the Manosphere.
But it's also that guy. What's his? He always shows. I see him in TikToks. He shows up. He's like, he's always doing skits. He's in like the picture here. He's always like playing like a caricature of a bro. I can't find his name here, but he's on the like picture on the IMDb. I did not even know this existed. So
I didn't either. Yeah, this is what happens when you're trying to fill space on here, fill this segment, fill a segment up. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Well, yeah, Tim Dillon maybe. Not sure.
Maybe I don't think so. He's not. I don't even see him on the cast list, but he's like on the picture. He's got like the sunglasses before the trailer starts. So.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. I don't know what his name
that guy.
is.
He's always showing up, and he's just like, "What's up, dude? I've got a Red Bull." He's always kind of like doing that kind of character.
Yeah.
Trevor Wallace. Trevor Wallace.
Okay.
He's like a stand-up.
Yeah. Yes. I've seen his stuff on TikTok. Yeah, he's very funny. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have same day Lee Cronin's The Mummy. This is not part of the Dark Universe. This is not part of any universe. It's a standalone.
Except for the Lee Cronin universe.
The Lee Cronin universe, yeah. The stars, let me see, Jack Rayner, Lala Costa, and May Kalawami. Should be an interesting thing. Is all that stuff, is all the Dark Universe stuff, what do they call it, fair use now? Is that how they're doing this?
I mean, the curse of the mummy is like definitely in the public domain because the mummy is from 5,000 years ago. But the first mummy film was 30s, so I guess like that should be in the public domain by now. It's right around that time. Mickey's like late 20s, and he just popped in the public domain recently. So it's I think it's as lot, or it might be just like, oh, are we adapting the Mummy movie, or we're just adapting like here's another mummy, here's an unrelated mummy that it was from the Mummy's curse.
An unrelated mummy that's cleaner.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It's the same guy that did The Evil Dead Rise from a couple years ago. There's going to be another one of those this year. Evil Dead Burn, which I'm looking forward to as well. Speaking of horror movies from this year. So yeah, we got The Mummy coming out this week. And speaking of one of your guys, David Lowery's new film Mother Mary is also coming out this week, starring Anne Hathaway, Michaela Cole, and Hunter Schafer. So amazing people. I've loved. It wasn't really familiar. I'm not a Euphoria guy. That's coming back this week. I know Hunter Schafer started on that show, so definitely loved. They were in something that I saw last year, I believe. Really interesting horror movie. Cuckoo. Yes, remember I was saying Cuckoo all that time. Cuckoo. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. There was also Anne Kindness.
That one almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one almost made this almost cracked my top 10 anticipated, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, it looks interesting. We have that, so that's a couple things coming out this week. Next week, May 1st already, Jesus, where's the year going? We got Antoine Fuqua's Michael, the Michael biopic, starring Jafar Jackson. Jafar Jackson, any relation? Let's find out.
He is, yeah, he's his nephew, I want to say.
The son of Jermaine Jackson.
Yes, and
yeah.
Jermaine's his brother, so that's how that works.
Yeah, Nia Long and Laura Harry are also in this film. Miles Teller as well. We got a movie called Fuse, F-U-Z-E. David Mackenzie directed this. I think I like his stuff. Let's see what Mr. Mackenzie's done. Oh yeah, Hell or High Water. Yep, one of my favorite movies from like the past 10 years.
I love that movie.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Got a new one out from him. An unexploded World War II bomb is discovered on a busy construction site in the center of London. Chaos ensues as the military and police begin a mass evacuation against a ticking clock. Starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Theo James, and Sam Worthington. So all the dudes, all the guys, all the men, all the boys, the dudes.
There's a lot of dudes in this movie.
We also have Apex, another 4-letter word movie called Apex, starring Charlize Theron, Taron Egerton, and Eric Bana. People we haven't really seen in a while. A grieving woman pushing her limits on a solo adventure in the Australian wild is ensnared in a twisted game with a cunning killer who thinks she's prey. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's not ideal. You hate to see that, honestly.
Yeah, one more for May 1st. We have Over Your Dead Body is an American action comedy thriller directed by Jorma Taccone. One of the Lonely Island fellas. Stars Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, and Paul Guilfoyle. A couple tries to reconnect while on vacation, only to find out they have plans to kill each other. Again, I hate when that happens. All right.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
All right. So with that, let's do some plugging. DamianSherman.medium.com. Check out all my articles there. Letterboxd, the Midnight Film Pod. Let's update right now. I followed some people. Let's see if they follow me back. How many we got here? So we are officially 20 away from 2,500 followers on Letterboxd. Film Essayist on YouTube, Spotify Podcasters. Hang out with me on all the Discords. iFanboy, The Ringer, Letterboxd, Blank Check. Blank Check's a very good Discord. Hey Real Riddle. Go all on there. I am Punk Trash right now. And go to Midnight Film Pod on TikTok as well. Derick, what you got to plug?
My plug is the Underrated Movie Podcast, where I talk about films that are underrated, underappreciated, and ones that have slipped under the radar and pass most people by. I most recently covered, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the extended edition. So go check that one out. And then upcoming is Goon, the Sean William Scott hockey enforcer movie. So would love you guys to go check that out. Got some other good stuff in the pipe. I just mentioned I recorded Mickey 17 with my buddy Law. Got some good things coming up, so stay tuned. I've got a mini series I'm excited for planned very soon. Then I've also got Infinity Stones, Dragon Bones, talking about the MCU. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. Just go to Underrated Movie Podcast or look up Underrated Movie Podcast on whatever app you're listening to this on.
Yeah, do all that. Check out Goon. You're checking out Goon. I checked out the porn parody Gooner. Hey.
Hey.
So with that, for Midnight Film Society, I've been Damian.
Derick.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.